Just some notes about mindfulness. The first is that it's really, really hard at the beginning. You may only be able to focus your attention on your breathing for a few seconds before it gets distracted and you start thinking about something else. Something someone told me early on when I started to practice mindfulness was to think about my brain or my mindfulness muscle as a puppy. Most of us wouldn't kick a puppy when it misbehaves. We would gently train it, we would give it correction, we would bring it back to what we would want it to do. And then when it made a mistake or stopped doing what it was supposed to do, we would gently bring it back again. That to me was really helpful because I think it's easy when we're practicing something new to get into a place of judgment and frustration when we can't do it right immediately. But for me, it was really helpful to think about my brain as a puppy. I wouldn't get frustrated with a puppy, and I certainly would not judge a puppy for not doing what I wanted it to, because that's what puppies do. Puppies also grow up to be dogs that can be much better trained. As you practice mindfulness, your attention will get stronger. Your ability to manage distractions will also get stronger. Along the same lines, it takes practice. In the same way that you wouldn't expect to pick up a new sports skill immediately, you're not going to be able to do mindfulness great overnight. But one of the foundations of mindfulness is non-judgment. And honestly, for a lot of athletes, I think this can be as hard as the mindfulness itself because we're so used to training, determining if a rep was appropriate, and if it wasn't, going back and fixing it. At a certain point, you might find your mind saying something like, this is boring, this isn't working, I can't do this. See these as the judgments that they are. And when they come into your mind, recognize them as judgmental thinking and remind yourself that practice involves suspending judgment and just watching whatever comes up, including your own judging thoughts, without pursuing them or acting on them in any way. Then proceed with going back to watching your breathing. Finally, there's a story that I want to leave you with. They say that in India, there's a particularly clever way of catching monkeys. As the story goes, hunters will cut a hole in a coconut that is just big enough for the monkey to put its hand through. Then they will drill 2 smaller holes on the other end, pass a wire through, and secure the coconut to the base of a tree. Then they put a banana inside the coconut and hide. The monkey comes down, puts his hand in, takes a hold of the banana. The hole is crafted so that the open hand can go in, but the fist cannot get out. All the monkey has to do is let go of the banana, but it seems that most monkeys don't let go. Often our minds get us caught in very much the same way in spite of all of our intelligence. As we're thinking about practicing mindfulness and how you're going to think about the next several weeks as you're sitting at home, I'd like you to think about that monkey. I certainly am not saying that this was not a disappointing end to a lot of people's seasons, so that there's grief associated with the changes that have happened in the last several weeks. So as you think about the hopes and the dreams and all the training and planning that you did for this season, you can hold on to the grief and the pain and the uncertainty, or you can let it go. You can control your uncontrollables, and you can get your hand out of the coconut. Remember, if there's anything that you need from us in sports psychology, including one-on-one confidential Zoom sessions, please feel free to get a hold of us through text, email, or Teamworks. Look for another video next week from Dr. Dorr. Until then, stay safe, Huskers.